Awesome, thank you. Thank you all so much for attending this breakout session. Welcome all. My name is John Helmes. I'm a designer at Microsoft. And today I'd like to talk to you about the design of the Microsoft Adaptive Accessories. So let's start that. So at Microsoft, our principle is to be accessible by design. And we believe in designing products that put people with disabilities at the center from the very start. Our accessible accessories play a powerful role in creating an accessible Surface and Windows ecosystem. Accessibility can mean different things to different people. It's not just about physical access. Digital accessibility ensures that everyone can connect with people and information in ways that are adaptive to their needs. Accessibility is about empowering people to fully participate and contribute so they can achieve their goals. It means creating experiences that are better for everyone. For me, personally, it meant making the PC more accessible for my youngest daughter, Yara. This, combined with a wealth of knowledge the team gained from developing the Xbox Adaptive Controller and the Adaptive Kit, laid the foundations for the Adaptive Accessories design. My youngest daughter, Yara, is 7 years old, and she had a rough start in life, which left her with cerebral palsy, affecting her movement and speech. Being 7 years old, this hasn't stopped her achieving anything in life and has made me incredibly proud. It's amazing what she taught me so far, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. As a designer, one of the most difficult tasks at the start of a new project is truly knowing the target group you're designing for, and in particular, the challenges they face. But in this case, quite clearly, the challenges my daughters were facing were crystal clear from day one. As parents, we're always on the lookout for new opportunities to best support Yara's personal development and participation in society. Quite obviously, taking her own pace and capabilities into account. Together with Yara and an amazing team of passionate people coming together across many organizations at Microsoft, we started a journey of which we'd love to share parts of with you today. But before doing so, let's take a look at Yara's first years in life.
When Yara was born, doctors weren't certain whether she was going to make it. But with Yara's enormous perseverance, amazing doctors, the latest recuperation technologies, a lot of therapy, and a little miracle, she managed to surprise us all. New lightweight 3D printed orthotics empowered her to learn how to walk. The speech computer empowered her to improve her voice. Play, practice, patience, and innovation helped Yara to unlock her full potential.
It's amazing how much technological innovations have brought us, and it's the empowerment throughout the video you just saw that has enabled Yara to excel to her full potential as she's growing up. Ranging from hypothermia treatment at birth, which is a treatment that cools the body of infants who've had a lack of oxygen, all the way to the frame runner she's been using the last 2 years to sport. But also innovations in 3D printing and its worldwide adoption offer amazing customization opportunities. I work with the orthotics company that made Yara's orthotics to scan her lower leg. With that CAD data, it didn't take me long to design this orthotic. With a unique integrated hinge, the original heavy metal hinge could be replaced to achieve a weight reduction and better overall fit. And the 3D printed nylon material being available in a large number of colors made it possible to further customize to her likings. But possibly most important, this process drastically decreased the cost price for the orthotic. And if either one of the upper or lower parts break, it's very easy to replace it by simply reprinting only that part. And these 3D printing innovations are particularly interesting when it comes to offering great customization opportunities, because we're all very different. And let us embrace and celebrate our differences to learn from each other and the richness that offers. Different perspectives and capabilities. That's where worlds meet, and we can come to new insights. Quite clearly, a lot depends on the task at hand as well. It's important to have the right tool for the task, and we all have our preferences. People have large feet, small feet, no feet. They need to dress for cocktail parties, cutting the lawn, sports, etc. When Yara started using APC in 2020, it quickly became evident that she didn't have the right tool for the task at hand. Her occupational therapist tried to have her use a conventional mouse, but because of Yara's variable muscle tension and involuntary movements, it's very hard for her to use a computer mouse. Her fingers continuously slide off the mouse surface, and because of her raised muscle tension and light spasm, she would continuously trigger the mouse buttons. The occupational therapist started working with BigTrack, which you can see in the image here. That was great, but it also felt like a missed opportunity, not being able to benefit from using a conventional computer mouse. Would it be possible to simply extend the types of devices we can pick from? There is no good or bad, and trackballs are awesome. But could there be something else that simply extends the gamut of available solutions in this space? So what if we were to develop a new mouse that would be adaptable with 3D printed extensions that could offer the right support and fit for Yara? An orthotic-like extension for the mouse, if you will. Applying that same approach as with the orthotics, I started hacking towards a better solution for Yara. And after taking an existing mouse apart, I realized we could quite easily augment it with a 3D printed extension. A mouse that could truly adapt to its user. Whether that's someone left-handed, someone with a large, small, or spastic hand, all can be accommodated. A simple first prototype proved to be very effective for Yara, but how could we further iterate on this notion and make something that not only Yara, but everyone could benefit from? Each year, Microsoft allows her employees to pitch and hack on ideas we feel passionate about and have some sort of connection to our products or customers. Taking this idea to the 2020 hackathon was the Kickstarter the work needed in order to get it onto the official product roadmap. The sheer amount of enthusiastic and extremely passionate people across the company in many different geographies was absolutely amazing, as you can see in this picture. In our design practice at Microsoft, we believe in nothing about us without us, which means that we need to include people with disabilities from the beginning of our process. We design with the disability community and through user experience research and insights fielded by the community. We create products and services that empower people with disabilities to achieve more, following 3 Microsoft inclusive design principles. Recognize exclusion. Exclusion happens when we solve problems using our own biases. As part of inclusive design, we seek out those exclusions and use them as opportunities to create new ideas and inclusive designs. Learn from diversity. Inclusive design puts people in the center from the very start of the process, and those fresh, diverse perspectives are the key to true insight. Solve for one, extend to many. Create products that remove the largest barriers for people with disabilities and extend to more customers who can benefit from them. So whilst developing the adaptive accessories, the team leaned heavily on knowledge from developing the Xbox Adaptive Controller. And talking to occupational therapists, experts, and potential users, it became evident that we needed to extend the ecosystem beyond the mouse. Even with certain customization to the mouse, it's still hard for some people to use it. For example, Yara cannot use a scroll wheel because she simply doesn't have the dexterity, given that her spasm and involuntary movements make it impossible to control the wheel. Also, with more severe cerebral palsy or other conditions that affect one's motor control, it might just be impossible to use a mouse. or one might combine a mouse with button input. So we started to apply the same adaptability strategy using 3D printed parts to a button input ecosystem. And continued co-designing with users and experts in the field. We knew the accessories had to be affordable, scalable, easy to use, adaptable, and aesthetically pleasing. And in order to achieve this, we needed to have the core design being compact to take up least amount of table surface and be flexible in setup, but also to be able to be augmented with whatever 3D printed shell someone would require. As you can see in these pictures, we move towards a portable, compact form factor with enough bottom surface for mounting it with double-sided sticky, Velcro, or zip ties. We iterated through a large number of different designs for the mouse, the hub, and buttons, exploring various mounting approaches between core and extension. Yara, her classmates, their occupational therapists, IT specialists, and beta testers with varying disabilities got to see, touch, feel, and try them firsthand. And we really wanted to support being able to use all the products wired and wirelessly, depending on one's preference. In order to enable this for the mouse, we chamfered the edge of the core design with a subtle slope. And by doing so, the USB-C cable angles up slightly from the mouse core, creating that required clearance between the table surface and the connector. We further iterated towards a compact form factor for both the hub and button with an integrated battery, same as for the mouse core. The bottom of both the button and hub have integrated mounting features and plenty of surface space to use double-sided tape to fix the devices in various ways. After landing the vision and all its core features and functionalities, it was really about going more in depth, refining the form and ergonomics of the product, for which we created many more models, internal layouts, and mechanical build-ups, as you can see in this image. And this is an overview of the final design of the adaptive accessories. Small, lightweight, and highly portable. On the bottom left, we have the Microsoft Adaptive Mouse, which is a versatile standalone mouse. Use it by itself as a compact travel mouse. It's easy to pair, and you can connect the mouse core wirelessly to up to 3 different devices or via USB-C connection. Next to it, we have the Microsoft Adaptive Mouse tail and thumb support, and you will obviously need the adaptive mouse to use it. Attach the Microsoft tail to the mouse core for a traditional mouse experience. Now, the thumb support accessory allows you to easily switch sides for left or right-handed use. In the center, you can see the Microsoft Adaptive buttons. Each wireless button has 8 digital inputs, allowing multiple actions to be assigned to one button and to create your own custom inputs. Each button type has the same identical base. So just to emphasize that the joystick is not analog. All the buttons are the same. What changes is the top part as we call it. There are 3 different types of adaptive buttons. From left to right, we have the D-pad, the joystick, and the dual button. In order to connect any of the adaptive buttons to your system, the adaptive hub is required. The Microsoft Adaptive Hub has a slim, light design and enables you to increase your productivity by connecting up 3 devices wirelessly, or again, via USB-C. And it's possible to connect up to 4 Microsoft Adaptive buttons wirelessly to the hub. If we flip the adaptive hub around, you can see that it has 5 3.5mm ports on the other side, with which it's possible to connect to your current assistive technology, such as third-party digital buttons and switches. Microsoft also partnered with Shapeways, a global leader in 3D printing, to enable 3D printed customization for the adaptive accessories. This overview shows a few of these 3D printed designs. On the top left, a cross D-pad providing more tactile guidance for users. In the top middle, another convex variant. On the right, a simple button, which could obviously have any height or curvature depending on the need. Bottom left, an extension that allows you to use clay to model your own tail design. In the middle, a large version of Yara's mouse, which offers more guidance and resistance to triggering the mouse buttons. And then finally, on the bottom right, Yara's mouse with a thumb support inserted for right-handed use. So how does this all work in practice? Let's take a look. So as mentioned, this is the Microsoft Adaptive Hub that connects our adaptive buttons or existing buttons to the PC. These are the three different types of adaptive buttons: the D-pad, dual button, and joystick. As shown earlier, this is the adaptive mouse, and I can simply remove the lid by pressing the ejector button at the bottom of the mouse. This then allows me to insert the mouse tail, and obviously also attach the thumb support if I wanted to. And again, to stress, it can be inserted for both right-hand use, but also for left-hand use. You basically swap it around to the other side. Now, if I wanted to use a more custom design, I can press the ejector button, remove the tail, and insert a 3D printed part. So here you can see Yara's extension, for example, that provides her with that additional guidance that she needs for her fingers. Here's another variant. It's just a flat extension. I'm just showing one more. That's Yara's large extension. But quite clearly, also the buttons are customizable. Simply apply a little bit of pressure and rotate the topper counterclockwise to release it. You can obviously then drop in any 3D printed extension you want. So again, line it up, rotate it clockwise to lock it in place. And as mentioned before, all the button bases are the same. What changes is the topper. So same for the dual button here. Again, it can fit a 3D printed piece. The stick of the joystick topper is threaded and can be taken out to only replace the stick. But again, underneath is the same button base. So just re-emphasizing, it's not an analog joystick. It's the same as the other buttons. And we already have quite a bunch of 3D printed extensions available for both the mouse and the buttons. Now let's take a look at how Yara uses the adaptive accessories in this little video snippet. She uses the button for scrolling in addition to the mouse for navigating this educational page she's using. And this is actually the first time ever she's able to work completely independently with a PC without any of our help. It's not just about her being able to work with a PC by herself, but it's that independence really that is incredibly empowering. Let's now actually take a closer look at Yara's setup and how we can actually configure it. So Yara is using the following accessories in her setup. She's using the hub to connect the button to her PC, the dual button, which she uses for scrolling, the mouse core, the 3D printed extension that guides her fingers, a thumb support, and a little insert that blocks her scroll wheel. Now, note that I've already set up all these devices with my PC. So next, I basically switch on the hub. I switch on the button. I rotate the button 90 degrees because Yara is using it for scrolling. I power on the mouse and press the eject button to remove the lid. I insert Yara's extension. And just to show here that the mouse actually slides quite smoothly over the table surface, but I'm actually inserting an additional thumb support piece that increases the friction with the table surface to dampen Yara's involuntary movement. And then finally, Yara doesn't have the dexterity to use the scroll wheel. So I block the scroll wheel with a little insert to prevent her from accidentally pressing it and to further guide her fingers. Now, what I haven't shown in this video is that I tend to also lock the button in place with double-sided tape. And quite clearly, I normally leave the mouse completely set up with required parts as already inserted, basically. So let's now open the Microsoft Accessory Center and take a look at how we continue to configure Yara's setup in software. So I open the app and I can see my hub and mouse being connected. I can select the hub and I can actually see the configurations for the 3.5 jacks of the hub. But because I'm setting up the dual button for Yara, I'm actually interested in the dual button, so I'm selecting that. Now I can see the dual button here. I can see the right button and the left button currently set to do a right click and a left click. But we want it to do scrolling behavior. So I'm going to select right click, go into mouse actions, and then instead of right click, I'm going to scroll to scroll wheel. I'm going to set that direction to go down. And I also want the button to keep scrolling as long as it's pressed. So I'm enabling this feature as well. Now you can see that it's been applied. I then select the left button, repeat my action. So set it as a scroll wheel. Up is already fine. Select repeat as well. And that is it. Again, you can see confirmed that it's currently set to do scroll wheel down and scroll wheel up, basically. So in addition to setting the button for Yara, I go into the adaptive mouse settings. And in there, I want to decrease the speed on the cursor. So I basically lower the DPI on the mouse to about 1000 DPI, which is what Yara uses. And then in addition to that, I basically disable the right button because Yara is not using that yet. And I also disable the wheel button to prevent her from accidentally triggering it. That's it. So now I just want to emphasize that what I've just shown you is a specific setup that Yara is using, but quite clearly everyone can create his or her own setup. The software configuration I just showed is a relatively simple setup because Yara is only 7 years old. She doesn't use that many features yet the system has to offer. But as you can see here, the configuration options are quite extensive. Anything is possible, really. Let's take a quick look at what else is possible, and then we will create a macro, a more advanced capability, if we have the time for that, which allows you to create a sequence of actions in order to perform a very specific task. So let's take another look at the hub, and I'm going to select the D-pad again. Now in this instance, you can actually see that the D-pad has been set to act as a mouse because you can see all the kind of directions here set as move cursor. Now let's dive into just the up button and see what options we have to set there. So we can set a button to be assigned to a window shortcut. We can assign it to a mouse action. We've already actually done that. We can set a key combination. Think about Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, for example. We can have it open an app, a web page, or a file. we can also have it switch profiles. So the hub supports multiple profiles, and we can have it switch between profiles as well. Now, I was going to show you a macro command, but we're running a little bit out of time, and I want to leave a few minutes for questions as well. So I'm going to stop here and basically end with the fact that I hope this has intrigued your interest. There's way more capabilities the system has to offer. So this is just a glance of what it can do. Yeah, we are on a journey here and far from perfect, but we hope that this will start allowing you to create a setup that is unique to your needs. And if you'd like to learn more about the adaptive accessories, how they work, about 3D printing, or any other accessible accessories we offer, please follow the link at the bottom of the slide, and I'll make sure to share it in chat as well. The adaptive accessories are available in the US and Canada right now, and will be available for the rest of the world markets earlier December. And with that, I'd like to thank you for attending this session, and would like to open up for questions. Thank you.